In Parashat Bereishit, we learn something from the Torah that's very amazing. It's brought down in Bereishit 1:27 that God created the human being in his own image. In the image of God, he created him, male and female, he created them. Oftentimes, when there's this word that changes, and often it's one word, and it changes, or there's a phrase that repeats, oftentimes many people will bypass that and they kind of miss what's just happened. And in this case, the change from him to them denotes that something really big has happened. And we know that man and women in the spiritual realms were one unit. They were not two, they were one unit. And we see this change now happening in the physical sense where they are split into two. Now, they are on equal playing fields in the fact that, they are created in God's image, and God doesn't have a lower self or a higher self, has v'shalom. He is one unit. He's just one. And so, in essence, man and women they were created to be one. And so when HaShem says it's not good for man to be alone, really is what he's saying is he's missing his other half. In the spiritual realm, he was one, and now he's half. And so a man who is not married, who does not have a wife, is not considered complete. And this is brought down in Yevamot 62b. And it says that he has no joy, no blessing, nothing good, no knowledge, no comfort, no peace. The man who has no wife lacks everything. And now we've spoke about this before, about the woman being the pipeline and the conduit. So there is a big piece of him, if you will, that is missing. And this is why Shem says, it's not good for him to be alone. I will make him a helpmate. So now we've talked about this concept of woman being made from the rib and what the rib means and what is its essence. And we've talked about all those things, but there are a few more things I want to kind of get into when we're talking about the creation of woman. And when Hashem made woman, there's a term that is made, that is referred to, and it's called Ezer Kenegdo, which really means that there's something, opposite or parallel to. This is not saying that something is above or below, has v'shalom, simply that there is something opposite to. The other word that is used is this word tzela, right? Which is where we bring, where we get this idea that God created Hava from Adam's rib. But Rashi says that the more accurate interpretation of this word really means that it is taken of his side. So the sages, explain Hava was taken from Adam's side, right? That she was divided from her other half. And hence we get all these, my Besheret, my other half. Oftentimes when we lovingly refer to our spouse, we say our better half, but never does one say, he's above me or she's above me or this or that. It really is this, we are partners. We are in this together. We're going to forge this experience in this world together. And man is essentially saying, but I can't do it without you. And Hashem is saying, he can't do it without you. So when we really understand this, when we get this concept, we see that there's something very beautiful going on, as opposed to the traditions and the evil speech that's kind of been brought down about, these gender wars against each other, husband and wife. And you really see that when these, it's really nonsense that gets perpetuated, it really makes it difficult for a marriage to function under these kinds of constraints. If you are constantly feeling like you have to compete with your husband or you have to prove yourself to your husband, that makes up for a very different marital dynamic, as opposed to we are in this together. I know my role, you know your role. if we're both doing what we have to do, we're going to be successful in everything, in life, in raising children, in companionship, in meeting our goals, whatever it is. So I think it's very important to understand what HaShem is saying about the whole marital dynamic and why it is really beautiful. And I really hope that people will see it as such, and that a lot of this nonsense, goes away. But only HaShem knows. Everything is in His hands. But I really just want to say again that HaShem really, He does everything in such beauty. We only need to take the time to really try to comprehend it. You can follow this series, A Woman's Worth by Devorah Esther, on YouTube at Gimel Dalet 777. Click subscribe to be notified. If you've enjoyed this video or know someone who would, please share it. Tzikku l'mitzvot.